And welcome back to Scott Swing Sports City, ladies and gentlemen. After 2 weeks off, I am officially back. Very excited to be back. First of all, before the video starts, I would like to wish all of you a very happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. Hope you all have a great time and enjoy friends and family this weekend and enjoy the great college football and NFL action that we have for you this weekend. Let's get into those picks right now. First game out will be Virginia Tech. Should be a great game Friday afternoon in Charlottesville. I'm going to go with the slight upset. Give me Bryce Perkins and Virginia to upset Virginia Tech in Charlottesville on Friday, and move in to the ACC championship game next weekend.
I'm going the other way. I think Virginia Tech is trending in the right direction. They're playing better and better each week. Virginia started off strong and it's kind of trending downwards. I think Virginia Tech is going to win this game.
Next up, Iowa and Nebraska. Nebraska needs to win this game if they want to become bowl eligible. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Give me the big upset of the week. Give me Scott Frost and Nebraska to pull off the upset in Lincoln this weekend. I think Scott Frost knows what's on the line this week. I think he needs this win, and I think he gets it. And he gets Nebraska bowl eligible this season.
I think it's a great pick. I think Iowa could really be coming off a big win and have a letdown on the road. But I still think Iowa's defense is too good. I think they're going to beat Nebraska, but in a close game.
Next up, Cincinnati and Memphis should be an excellent game. This could be the same game we see next week. I'm going to go with Memphis. Memphis has more to play for in this game right now. Cincinnati's already got their division wrapped up. They locked it up last weekend. Memphis still needs to win this week if they want to go to the AAC Conference Championship game next week. So give me Memphis at home because they have more to play for at home against Cincinnati.
I agree. I think Memphis at home is a very, very good team. I think if it was on the road at Cincinnati, I would give the slight edge to Cincinnati. But since they're playing home, I will take the Memphis Tigers.
Next up, Boise State, Colorado State should be another good game on Friday. I'm gonna go with Boise. I think Boise State's looked good all season. One loss. Don't remember who they lost to, but they'll get the win here. Give me Boise on the road. Yeah.
I'm going with Boise State as well. I think Boise State's been on a roll since that loss to BYU. I think they're a very, very good team. I think Boise State gets the win.
Next up, App State and Troy. Should be a great game again. I will go with App State, the surprising team of the year so far. I'll take App State on the road to get it done against the Troy Trojans on Friday.
I don't know much about Troy, but I know App State's having a very good year, so I'm going to go App State.
Next up, UCF and South Florida should be a great game. The War on I-4. 8 o'clock kickoff on Friday night. I'm going to go with UCF at home. The line has dropped a little bit. I believe it's down to 23.5 now. If it drops a little bit more, I'll take UCF to cover, but right now I do not. I have USF just barely covering the spread this week and beating it. I think that's the only thing that counts to win this week. Give me UCF at home over South Florida.
I agree. I think UCF's going to get the win here. If you look at UCF's games this year, though, they have rarely covered the spread. I think USF will actually keep it closer than 23, but UCF should win by about 3 touchdowns.
Next up, Ohio State and Michigan should be a great game in the Big House on Saturday. I am unfortunately going with Ohio State here. Ohio State's had a great season. They have their best player back, and that definitely paid a dividend last week over Penn State. So I'll take Ohio State on the road to get it done against Michigan.
As much as I want to take Michigan here, I want Michigan to win in a big way. Ohio State looks like the more complete team, although Michigan has definitely been trending upwards. I think this will be a very close game, like a field goal kind of game, but Ohio State wins.
Next up, Clemson and South Carolina should be a great game here. Nothing to play for here, so I will take Trevor Lawrence and Clemson to win big this week over South Carolina. No problems here. I'll take Trevor Lawrence and Clemson to win big this week over South Carolina.
I think South Carolina's going to keep it closer than people think. I think South Carolina, when they're up for a game like they were against Georgia, they can play some pretty good football. I think they'll keep it close against Clemson, but Clemson will get the win.
Next up, Georgia and Georgia Tech, probably the biggest blowout of the weekend. I will take Jake Fromm and Georgia to be probably one of the worst teams in the Power 5 this year in Georgia Tech. So give me Jake Fromm and Georgia to get the win here and get ready for next weekend against LSU. So give me Georgia on the road against Georgia Tech.
I agree. Georgia wins easily.
Next up, Alabama and Auburn. Should be a great game at Jordan-Hare on Saturday afternoon. Unfortunately, I'm going to go with Alabama here. I feel like the committee has already showed us how much they love Alabama, so I think they'll find a way into the playoff this year. I'll take Alabama and Mac Jones to find a way to get it done, and then hope for some chaos next weekend to get into the playoff. I'll take Bama on the road against Auburn.
I think this is Auburn's year to get Alabama. With Tua out injured, I think Auburn has lost a lot of really close games. This is going to be a really emotional game at home. I think Auburn's going to win this one really, really close.
Next up, Wisconsin and Minnesota. College game day will be there Saturday morning. Should be an excellent game. Temperature for this game right now is projected to be 38 degrees and raining, so that's going to be interesting. I would go with PJ Fleck and the Gophers. I feel like I said it earlier in the week, he's one of the most underrated coaches in college football right now. Look what he did with Western Michigan. Look what he's doing now with Minnesota. I will take Minnesota to continue to row the boat and move on to the Big Ten championship game next weekend against Ohio State. So give me Minnesota at home over Wisconsin.
This is a tough game to pick. I can go either way on this one, but I'm going to go with the home team like Scott did and take Minnesota in a very, very close game.
Next up, Baylor and Kansas. Baylor is moving on to the Big 12 championship game next weekend, plays Oklahoma. Kansas doesn't have much to play for here, so I will take Baylor to get another win and get another good win in the Big 12. So I'll take Baylor over Kansas this weekend.
Kansas has definitely improved under Les Miles. Their scores have been much closer than they have been historically. So I think it's going to be a closer game than most people expect, but I do feel like Baylor's going to win this game.
Next up, Rutgers and Penn State. Penn State looking to rebound after losing to Ohio State last week. And I think they'll do just that this week. Give me Penn State and James Franklin to get the win and improve to 10-2 on the season and get a win over Rutgers on Saturday.
Rutgers is one of probably the bottom 10 teams in the Power 5. I think Penn State wins this one easily.
Next up, Oregon State and Oregon should be a good game. Oregon also looking for a bounce back after losing to Arizona State last week. I'll take Justin Herbert and Oregon to get the win at home in Autzen Stadium in Eugene against Oregon State.
I think Oregon's going to play really angry this week. They're going to feel like they let their season slip away, and I think they're going to take it out on Oregon State in a rivalry game.
Next up, Notre Dame and Stanford should be a great game as well. I will go with Ian Book and Notre Dame to get it done. Good season for them, 10-2 on the season. So I'll take Ian Book and Notre Dame to get it done on the road against Stanford.
I think this is a pretty easy call. Stanford's really been down this year. Notre Dame is trending upwards. I like Notre Dame to win this one big.
Next up, Texas A&M and LSU should be a great game as well. 17-point favorites are LSU at home. Might be able to cover. I'll take Joe Burrow and LSU to get it done at home over Kevin Sumlin and Texas A&M.
Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher is definitely one of the I think underrated teams. They play good teams close like they did Georgia last week, but I still think LSU will win this game at home.
Next up, Iowa State and Kansas State should be a good game here. I'll take Iowa State on the road to get it done and improve to 8-4 on the season. Very good season for Iowa State under head coach Matt Campbell. I feel like he's, again, one of the best coaches in college football. So I'll take Iowa State on the road in Manhattan against Kansas State.
I'm going the other way. I think Kansas State's a tough team. They're hung the only loss on Oklahoma. They're off a good home team. I think Kansas State gets this win.
Next up, Colorado and Utah should be a great game. Utah needs to win this game if they want to stay alive in the college football playoff race. So I think they'll get it done. Give me Zach Moss in Utah to get the win on the ground this week and get it done at home against the Buffs.
Yeah, Utah wins this and they win it big.
Next up, Florida State. Florida should be a great game. Two teams going in opposite directions. I'll take Kyle Trask and Florida to get it done under the lights at Ben Hill-Sprevin Stadium on Saturday. Should be no problems here. I will take Kyle Trask and Florida to get it done at home in the swamp against the Noles.
Florida needs to take advantage of these opportunities. There's not many times that Florida State's program has been down. This is one of those years. I think Florida gets the win, and they win by at least 2 touchdowns.
Next up, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State should be a great game in Stillwater. I will take Jalen Hurts and Oklahoma to get it done. They need to win this game if they want to stay alive in the college football playoff. And they do get it done here. I'll take Oklahoma on the road in Stillwater against Mike Gundy and Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma has not played very well of late. They've escaped with some narrow victories. I'm going to take Oklahoma State here in the upset at home. They play awfully well in Stillwater. Give me the Cowboys.
Now into the Thanksgiving games for the week. Should be a lot of great games on Thanksgiving. First game out, Bears and Lions should be a great game at Ford Field. Give me the Bears in this game over the Lions. Don't even know who's going to start quarterback tomorrow for Detroit. So I'll take Mitch Trubisky and the Bears to look good again this week and get back to 500. I'll take the Bears on the road over Detroit.
Roger Goodell, if you're watching this, and I'm sure you are, please stop with the Lions on Thanksgiving Day. They haven't been good in like the last 25 years. Give us a good, compelling game on Thanksgiving Day. I'm tired of watching the Lions lose, but I agree with Scott. The Bears get the win.
The reason why they put them on it there is because nobody's at anybody's house yet at 12:30. So the people don't get to houses till like 4.
So throwaway game.
Yeah. 4:30. Hey, actually a good game on Thanksgiving. Bills and Cowboys. This should be a good one. I'll take. Never bet against Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Give me Dak Zeke and the Cowboys get it done at home in Jerry's World, and potentially the last game for Jason Garrett as head coach if they lose this one. Give me the Cowboys at home over Buffalo.
Buffalo's been one of the surprise teams in the NFL this season for sure, but I agree with Scott. I think the Cowboys win in a narrow victory.
Next up, New Orleans and Atlanta. They played last year. I believe New Orleans won the game last year in New Orleans. This year it's in Atlanta. I will go with Drew Brees and the Saints to get it done on Thanksgiving night. Should be no problem here. I will take New Orleans on the road to get it done in Atlanta against the Falcons.
While the Bills have been a pleasant surprise, the Atlanta Falcons have been an unpleasant surprise. A very bad season for Atlanta. I think New Orleans wins this one and wins it big.
Next up, a game that nobody's going to watch except me and maybe like 1,000 people on Sunday afternoon, as it'll be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading in Jacksonville to take on the Jags. This is probably the worst game of the week. I'll take Jameis looked good last week. I'll take Jameis and the Bucs get it done at home on the road in Jacksonville against Nick Foles and the Jags.
Did Jameis have 2 interceptions last week?
Yes, but he did have 3 touchdowns last week as well.
I'm going to take the Jags at home. I think the Bucs are a mediocre team, actually below mediocre team.
Neither team is good.
Both of them stink. Yeah. But the Jags are a little better. I think the Jags win this one.
I think our defense is slightly better. So, yeah.
I don't know.
Next up, the New York Jets heading into Cincinnati to take on the Bengals.
Speaking of a game no one's going to watch.
Yeah. Give me Sam Darnold and the Jets get it done in Cincinnati. Bringing back Andy Dalton back into the starting lineup this week. Doesn't matter. I'll take Sam Darnold and the Jets to get it done on the road in Cincinnati against the Bengals.
I agree. I think the Jets are trending upwards. Cincinnati has nothing to play for other than the first pick. I think this is going to be the end of the Red Rockets era, and they're going to be basically trying to lose this game to get the number 1 overall pick and get Joe Burrow.
Next up, the Titans and the Colts in Indy should be a great game. 2 teams looking for a playoff spot right now in the very crowded AFC South right now. 3 teams looking for 1 spot in the playoffs. I'm going to go with the better quarterback here. Give me Jacoby Brissett and the Colts to get it done. I don't think Ryan Tannehill's as good as people think he is this year. He's got a good running game, so I feel like that's why a lot of people are overreacting on him. So I'll take Jacoby Brissett and the Colts to get it done at home over the Titans.
I can go either way in this game. I think it's 2 teams that are pretty evenly matched, but I'm going to take the home team here. Give me the Colts.
Next up, Carson Wentz and the Eagles looking to bounce back after a pretty bad performance last week in Seattle against the Seahawks. But once you come off a loss, there's no other team to play. There's no better team to play in the NFL than Miami as they head in to Hard Rock Stadium to take on Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Dolphins. I will take Carson Wentz to get the win here on the road in Miami in a virtual home game for the Eagles. I'll take the Eagles on the road to get it done in Miami against the Dolphins.
I agree. I mean, the Eagles are a better team than the Dolphins. The Dolphins are one of the 2 worst teams in the NFL. Eagles get the win by at least 10 points.
Next up, Green Bay and New York should be a great game. The Giants are not looking good this year. I'll take Aaron Rodgers to have a much better game this week. He looked very bad last Sunday night against the Niners. I think he looks much better this week. Give me Aaron Rodgers and the Pack to rebound after a tough loss last week against San Francisco. They'll rebound against the Giants this week.
I think the Packers were embarrassed last week. They're a group of professionals. I think they're going to want to really bounce back. They're going to take out that embarrassment on the Giants and win big.
Next up, the Cleveland Browns heading into Heinz Field to take on the Steelers. And Mason Rudolph and the Steelers offense was actually healthy this week. I would have taken the Steelers at home but because they have too many injuries this week, they're starting a quarterback who's making his first career start this week. I am unfortunately going with Baker Mayfield and the Browns to get the win over the Steelers. But that does mean that Pittsburgh will probably win this game. So I'll take Cleveland on the road against the Steelers.
You know one thing the Browns do not have?
Yeah, Terry Jewell.
That's Terry Jewell.
Yeah.
So for my man Terry Jewell, in a close game, I'm going to take the Steelers at home. Even though the Steelers are playing with a lot of injuries, they have the heart of Terry Jewell. Steelers get the win here.
Next up, the Washington Redskins heading into Carolina to take on the Panthers. I'm actually starting the Carolina defense this week. Dwayne Haskins has been a turnover machine this year. I'll take Kyle Allen and the Panthers to rebound after 2 straight losses. I mean, they get back on track this week, and they get a win against the Redskins.
Another game people will probably not watch very much of, but I agree. The Panthers are a little better than the Redskins. Both are pretty bad teams, though.
Next up, probably the game of the week coming in the 1 o'clock hour on Sunday.
Could be a Super Bowl preview.
Yeah, as it will be Jimmy G and the Niners heading into Baltimore to take on Lamar Action Jackson and the Ravens. I'm going to go with Jimmy G and the Niners to get the win on the road. They have a better defense. I think both quarterbacks are kind of on the same level. So I'm going to take Jimmy G and the Niners on the road to get it done against the Ravens.
I think the Ravens have had a harder schedule than the 49ers, plus they're playing at home. I'm going to take the Ravens in this one. It's a very, very good game, marquee matchup, but I like the Ravens to beat the 49ers.
Next up, the LA Chargers heading into Denver to take on the Broncos. Tough pick for me here, but because it's Thanksgiving and it's all about family here, I'm going to go with Denver to get the win here at home at Mile High this week. Should be no problem here. Give me the Broncos at home to defeat Phillip Rivers and the Chargers.
2 pretty bad teams, so I'm going to take the home team in this one. I got the Broncos.
Next up, the Raiders and the Chiefs, 2 teams that are pretty good this year. Both teams looking for playoff spots in the AFC. Not enough offense for Oakland in this game. I'll take Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs to come off the bye week and get a win here at home at Arrowhead against John Gruden and the Raiders.
Andy Reid's awfully good on bye weeks. I like the Chiefs to beat the Raiders here pretty handily.
Next up, Sunday Night Football. They're actually giving us a good game this week. It will be Tom Brady and the Pats heading into Houston to take on the Texans. Give me Tom Brady and the Pats to get a road win in Houston against Deshaun Watson and the Texans.
I'm going to take the upset here. I'm going to take Houston at home. I think New England has won only because their defense of late, the offense has been sputtered, and I think Houston's going to score enough points to win.
Next up, Minnesota and Seattle, Monday Night Football. Monday Night Raw's viewership will probably move down again this week. It's a pretty good Monday night game this week. I'll take, unfortunately, I'm going to take Seattle at home. As much as I would love to see the Minnesota Vikings win this game and get closer to seeing Hugh Freeze back on the DA show, I'm going to take Seattle at home to get it done against the Vikings.
Seattle just keeps on winning. They lose players, but the one constant is Russell Wilson, who's having an MVP caliber season. Playing at home, give me the Seahawks.
And that will do it for this episode of Scott's Weekly Sports Today, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back next week with my conference championship predictions and my NFL predictions for the week. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody, and I will see you guys right back here next week. Always like, subscribe, comment, and share these videos with your friends, your family, other YouTubers that you may know and are subscribed to. And I'll see you guys right back here next week on Scott's Weekly Sports right here on YouTube. See you later, guys.
See you guys.